BAR, and David Richards took over. And many people maybe thought that there should have been a more rapid change around, that more performance and obviously reliability should have come sooner. The problem is in Formula One, things take a very long time in Formula One to swap around.
Well, we're looking back at the highlights of the British Grand Prix now. The build-up, the celebrities, the action on the grid. This was before the rain started to fall at this time. It was all looking dry, cloudy, yes, but there was no rain on the track, and everybody therefore was set to start on grooved, dry weather tyres. The weather forecasters reckoned generally that it would be okay, but it wasn't okay for Barrichello, as he was left stranded on the grid and would have to start behind all of the other cars. At the start of the race, Montoya making a clean getaway, and with having no one alongside him was able to take the lead into the first corner, but Felipe Massa was to have the first of many spins today.
Yes, he was squeezing, but he was on the outside of the corner, couldn't get clear, got onto the grass, and of course McNish also left on the grid, and his race ended on that grid.
So the interest was watching Barrichello in the first few laps as he forced his way up, but then the rain started to fall. Massa was a visitor to the grass, and we saw other people trying to make up ground. Barrichello still working his way up from that position at the back of the field, and one by one picking them off. Up front, the battle was between Montoya and Michael Schumacher. It looked as though Schumacher would get through, but Montoya was able to fend him off.
Yes, there's really a battle about tyres rather than cars or drivers. Montoya on the Michelin wasn't able to compete with Michael Schumacher on the Bridgestone, and then the heavens really opened, and Montoya dived into the pits. He had really little choice but to go on a full set of wets, and look at that, David Coulthard went off at Vale. He'd just come out of the pits on a set of groove slicks because Michelin didn't have that super intermediate that Bridgestone have got.
That's right. Well, it wasn't long before Montoya had to give best to Michael Schumacher, and there was just nothing he could do about it. His car sliding around, and a lot more grip available for the Ferrari. Both Toyotas went out fairly early. McNish's problem backed up by Salo's problem. Kimi Raikkonen was very much one of the stars in the early stages, and perhaps one of the most disappointing aspects of this race was the problems and the tyre choices that McLaren made, which did not allow Raikkonen to get another point-scoring finish here today. He had an engine failure in the end, but other people also had problems.
Yes, both Arrows suffered engine failures first, with Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who was driving a storming race, came up through the field again, benefiting from Bridgestone, a very good car, lots of downforce, and this was a terrible situation. Both the Renault teams, and David Coulthard then hits the barrier, that polystyrene corner marker coming out of bridge, and once again back into the pits, as if the whole choreography of the McLaren team just seemed to go pear-shaped this afternoon.
Barrichello explained that his spin caused by very worn intermediate tyres, but Ferrari chose their moments carefully to bring Michael Schumacher in, and Montoya and Ralf Schumacher. Ralf was the first to go back onto the groove dry weather tyres at that stage in the race, and he was soon lapping very quickly, and that saw a number of cars then coming in, including Jacques Villeneuve on his way to scoring points.
This is the pass Montoya made into Bridge Corner. That was a brave pass. Was Barrichello slightly caught unawares, and then Kimi Raikkonen, a blinding drive, ends with another blown engine.
But then Barrichello came back at Montoya, took the position into Copse Corner, and that was second place for Ferrari, third for Montoya, as he then had to conserve fuel in the remaining stages of the race. Takuma Sato, another blow-up for him, but 3 Honda-powered cars did make it to the finish on this occasion, BAR's both, and Giancarlo Fisichella in the other Jordan. Panis making his way through, and David Richards having a day of celebration with his two boys scoring well. But Michael Schumacher it was who did the best of all, dominating up front and maintaining a healthy advantage.
But behind the top 6, Giancarlo Fisichella fighting for that final place, denied by Nick Heidfeld, who drove a strong race, couldn't challenge the two BARs this afternoon. Nevertheless, one more point for Sauber.
And the final lap for Michael Schumacher as he came across the line. It was delight for the Ferrari team, and Ross Brawn in particular, after once again making the correct calls, and that was the smile on David Richards' face as his two cars went over the line in 4th and 5th places.
Well, there's a scene very frequently indeed, and two teammates also absolutely delighted, probably relieved finally to get off the blocks and score a total of 5 points between the two drivers.
Jean Todt certainly happy about another 1-2 finish for Ferrari. No question of team orders coming into play on this occasion. It was a wide open Grand Prix.